Hello there, and welcome back to Attorney Advertising 101. I'm John from White Raven Technology, and today we're going to be talking about the advertising platform I see the most attorneys using, and often using incorrectly, Google AdWords. The purpose of today's video and article is to give you, the attorney, a general understanding of how AdWords works and the circumstances for which it is most effective. So, let's get to it. Now, before we really dive into AdWords, I do want to make clear what this video is and is not. In this entry in the 101 series, we're discussing the concepts around AdWords, what it is, when to use it, how you're charged, common pitfalls, etc. What I won't be doing is walking through exactly how to set up an AdWords campaign. It's important to have a solid understanding of the platform before we get to that, and we'll be building a separate series of videos and articles exploring the hands-on of setting up AdWords. So, if you're ready to learn what AdWords is and how it can be used effectively for your law practice, watch on and let's talk AdWords. The first thing to talk about is what AdWords actually is, though you're probably already familiar with it. AdWords ads are, most commonly, the 3 or 4 text ads that appear at the top of the results when you run a Google search. Those results will be clearly but inconspicuously marked as advertisements, and the advertiser's charged every time someone clicks the ad to visit the advertiser's website. This is what we mean when we say pay-per-click advertising. The ads are targeted to a list of search terms that people might use. So if you're a local pizza shop owner, you could have your ad show up when someone searches for pizza delivery in Orlando. For attorneys, of course, this is an exceedingly effective means of advertising. If you're a personal injury lawyer, you can target search phrases like personal injury attorney in New Orleans or what to do after a car accident. The next thing to discuss is when AdWords is most effective. In other words, which areas of law practice will benefit most from AdWords advertising. The good news is that most practice areas can make good use of AdWords, but the very best use cases are for practice areas in which if someone is searching for your help, they need it right now. Bearing that in mind, some of the best practice areas for advertising in AdWords will include personal injury attorneys, workers' compensation attorneys, divorce attorneys, child custody attorneys, and so forth. Basically, if a user is searching for your help because they need it immediately, you'll have an easier time succeeding with AdWords. So, what makes up an AdWords advertising campaign? The big components to be aware of are the ad you display, the keywords you target, and the landing page that you send people to. Now, let's talk about each component in a bit more detail. The ad itself is made up of several components, so let's take a look at each of those. The ad headline is the top line of the ad and is most often what your viewer will see first, so it needs to be effective while fitting into the tight length limit Google sets of 25 characters. The ad description is the next 1 or 2 lines, depending on how the ad is displayed, of up to 35 characters per line that expand on your ad headline. Don't waste time telling them to click, tell them why they should click. And last is the display URL. And this is the web address that will be displayed to the user. Just use your standard website URL here. The next component to discuss is the selection of keywords that you'll use to target your ad. Now, this is a very, very complex target, full of ideas like match types and search volume and bid amounts and so forth. So, here are just a few notes to consider around selecting your keywords. First, keep them specific. Sure, you can bid on attorney for your local area, but how do you know what kind of attorney the user needed when they searched? Second, be aware that keywords around legal services cost more than any other industry in general. You may end up paying more than $100 per click in some markets and for certain keywords. This is why it can be so important to hire someone that knows what she's doing with pay-per-click advertising, whether that's an in-house marketing manager or an outsourced marketing agency. Any mistake or unoptimized landing page or keyword can cost you thousands of dollars a month, so be careful that you understand what you're bidding on and how much it will cost. And third, The keywords you expect to perform well will not always do so. So, as with all things in online advertising, plan to test plenty of different ideas. Then narrow your keywords down to the ones that actually work. The last major component to consider in AdWords advertising is the landing page, or where the visitor ends up after clicking your ad. This is, again, a very highly complex target and worthy of its own detailed series of instructional videos, so let's talk big picture. The landing page for any advertisement, but especially for AdWords ads, should be highly focused on the intent that led the user to visit your website to begin with. A great landing page will feature the keywords that the user searched for and address the need behind the search simply and effectively. If they searched for a car accident attorney, use images related to a car crash and tell the visitor how to call you and perhaps give them a contact form to send you their contact information. Now, once again, we're just skimming the surface of these ideas. We'll cover much more detail in a future series on how to actually set up your online advertising. So, moving right along, what are some common pitfalls or mistakes that we see from attorneys in AdWords advertising? First and foremost, horrible landing pages. We often, way too often, see ads link directly to a firm's homepage, or to a landing page that is so busy you can't figure out what to read, or to a page that doesn't even tell the user what to do next, like call a certain phone number or submit a form for a case evaluation. So here are a few very quick pointers to avoid these issues. Number 1. Make sure your phone number and contact form, if you have one, are very easy to find among whatever other information you include on the page. Number 2. Remove any and all unnecessary distractions, including links to other pages on your website, or testimonials that aren't related to the visitor's need, or about our firm type information, except perhaps a very small paragraph at the bottom of the page, and so forth. Number 3. Focus completely on what the visitors have searched for and how your firm can solve their problems or meet their needs. Nothing else. The next common mistake we see is with keywords that are far too broad. If you only use broad match keywords, that is, they aren't enclosed in quotes or brackets, and you don't use the plus sign modifier before each important word to make it a modified broad match, be aware that any individual word in your phrase could trigger the ad being displayed. For example, if you use the keyword child custody attorney, your ad could be displayed when someone searches for childcare, chain of custody, or how to become an attorney. Now, this won't always happen, and it's not always wrong to use broad match keywords, but you should definitely pay attention to how you set up your keywords and what happens when you turn them on. If you get a lot of meaningless traffic, in other words, traffic that doesn't convert to leads, check out which keywords are sending that traffic and make adjustments. Bonus mistake. You don't always have to include your city in the keyword, but if you don't, be sure to restrict your ad campaign geographically, so that if you're in Memphis and someone from Phoenix searches for an attorney, they won't see your ad. The next common mistake we see a lot is not testing. We talked a lot about split testing and analysis in the second video of this series, and it's vital that you do so to get the best bang for your buck. So be sure you're trying different headlines, different descriptions, different keywords, different times of day, and so on to figure out which combinations earn you the best return for your investment. Well folks, I think that's quite enough information to digest on Google AdWords for this entry. I hope you have a much better understanding of what AdWords is, who it's good for, and a few of the common pitfalls to avoid if you try AdWords for your law firm. As always, if you have any questions or comments, comment on this video, the article, or any of our social profiles. We love talking about this stuff with you. And I hope you'll join us in the next video in which I'll cover Facebook advertising just like I did for AdWords today. So, until we meet again, happy marketing.